here we go. Thanksgiving. We started off in the morning with the Bears and the Lions. Shame on the NFL. This is a disgrace. It's the first time since the merger that a team, they flexed them into the game too. They flexed them into Sunday night. They're the early game on Thanksgiving. Bears are 3, 44.5 at Detroit. They just played. Bears led 26-0, and then Stat Padford went to work and does what he always does, moves the ball and puts up yards in garbage time when they're getting their ass kicked. So they just played. Now with the Bears, Trubisky, they're cautiously optimistic that he'll be able to play. If not, it'll be Daniel. I like the Bears better with Daniel anyways. Bears on the road, beat the Bills, forced a lot of turnovers and had some defensive touchdowns. Lucky to beat Arizona by 2. Lost to Green Bay. Lost against Osweiler. Couldn't slow down Miami. 4 road games left. Game and a half leading the division. $3 favorite in some spots to win the division now. Put up or shut up time for the Bears. Can they win on the road?
Yeah, well, you know, when these two teams met, and it wasn't 2 months ago, they met 12 days ago. And it was a very one-sided game. Chicago's defense with Khalil Mack was able to actually, I don't remember if Mack played in that game. Chicago's defense was able to dominate. We saw last week a defense completely take over a game with Khalil Mack, in terms of the ability to generate pressure. Was it Akeem? I'm spacing on his last name on the defensive line with Mack and Hicks. Is it on the defensive line?
Yep.
That 1-2 duo was able to literally blow up every play for Minnesota behind the line of scrimmage. And when you have a weak offensive line like Detroit does, and you're facing an elite defense, and that Chicago #1 ranked defense, you know, they passed the "Are we authentic?" test last week. Boy, it's hard for me to get to the window betting on the Lions in this spot. But that being said, you're right about the spot. And it wasn't like they were scheduled into it. They got flexed into it because the Bears are interesting this year. So when you're talking about something that hasn't happened once since the merger, where you play Sunday night, then have to travel and play early start Thursday, that's a tough spot, especially when your quarterback's hurt. You talked about Chase Daniel, you know, and they say cautiously optimistic. This is a quote from Chase Daniel, quote, "I haven't gotten any reps with the first team this year, but it's the same offense that I was in for 5 years. So for me, it's mostly the same plays. We got some tweaks here and there, and obviously different personnel, but I know the offense like the back of my hand." And then Nagy, of course, knows Chase Daniel pretty well. That's why he brought him in. I know Chase inside and out. He knows me inside out. If that's the route we go, we keep plugging away, and that's just part of football. If not, then it's nice to know that we've got Chase. Of course, Daniel has not started an NFL game since 2014, and Trubisky was unable to practice on Tuesday. Today, just a light walkthrough for Chicago before they get on a plane and head to Detroit.
It's a tough game. Also, Kerryon Johnson doesn't look like he'll go for the Lions. He's had a great year. And the Lions, there was years ago, there was a lot of talk, and rightfully so. Get them off Thanksgiving. It was a joke organization. They kept getting their ass kicked. It started with that loss. Remember, Schwartz didn't know the rule, and there was a turnover, and he challenged it, so he got penalized, which came back to bite him because they lost the challenge. They got blown out by Green Bay. They lost to Houston, routed by the Patriots, lost by 20 or more back-to-back years, lost by 37 against Tennessee, lost by 11 to the Packers, 17 to Miami, 20, and then 41-9. But the last 5 years, 4-1 straight up in ATS. So it's at least they've turned it around here and lost last year against the Vikings, but before that had won 4 in a row.
Yeah, but that's just it. They lost last year against the Vikings. So whatever momentum they had on Thanksgiving, they don't have it coming into 2018, whatever confidence level. And, you know, Detroit's not the better of these two teams. They're not a particularly confident team. They won last week because Ron Rivera chose to go for 2 and didn't succeed on it. And Carolina spent most of that game shooting themselves in the foot. But this is not a Lions team that's been a good home dog in recent seasons, certainly not in the Caldwell era. This year, they've been much better at home than they have on the highway. But Stat Padford, I do not trust Stafford against a defense of this quality. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the games.